would like to discuss an important topic for me, and this is how to create a backing track for any scale that you're using or practicing. First of all, why should we use a backing track? I think the benefits of using a backing track are a lot, and the most important are that you get a rhythmic support for everything that you're playing, so it's easier to play in time. And furthermore, you're getting a harmonic support, so you can actually hear if your note choices are the ones that you want to play. The better the backing track is, the easier it gets to develop musical ideas over it. Further, it would help you hear if you're playing all the correct notes of the scale, and it will put your ideas in a perspective, so you get a real musical environment for your lines, and it will help you be more prepared to use them in a real situation. So I think we can agree that playing with a backing track and being able to create one of your own is a very important tool for any musician. Let's dive in and explore some ways to make your own backing tracks for any scale. So the first thing that you could do when creating a backing track is just taking the root of the scale that you're practicing. I will take A for a root, and you just pick up a comfortable tempo and play this note in a steady beat. So you just get, and take a bar or 2 bars of it, loop them, or make a longer backing track if you don't want to loop, and you have your basic backing track. Doing so allows you to practice playing in time and resolving your lines in a clear rhythmical way. So you will get much more mindful of the tempo you're playing in. And for my example, I'm going to be using the Phrygian dominant scale, also called the harmonic minor 5, from the root of A, but it's not that important if you don't want to play this scale. It will work for any other scale with just a few modifications, so you can use it the way you would like to use it. So let me show you the notes from the Phrygian dominant scale. And let's hear how it sounds with a backing track. So the next step would be taking the triad or the chord built on the root of the scale that I'm playing. So in my case, that would be the A, the C sharp, and the E, and that would give me this chord. It's an A major triad. But if you don't know much about chords, there is no problem. Just write the scale tones down and take the first, the third and the fifth note of the scale, and then you have your root triad. Or just play your scale, take the first note, then leave the second out, take the third note, leave the third note, and take your fifth note. So the first, the third and the fifth note will give you your triad, and depending depending on what scale you're playing, you get a different chord, but it will be the triad from the root of your scale. In doing so, I have now defined 3 tones of my scale, which gives me a lot more information than just playing the root note by itself. I can now easily hear how the chord that I'm playing over is supposed to sound and how my scale is interacting with it. So I get much more comprehensive approach to practicing a new scale. Let's now see how this backing track sounds and experiment with it. So the next level of building a backing track gets even more specific, and that's why I like using it a lot. We'll be taking more chords in addition to the triad on the root note, and if you need to, you can build all the chords in your scale by writing the scale down and treating every scale tone the way we did with the root in the last step. So over every degree of your scale you build a third and a fifth. You get the third note and the fifth note from this degree, and that will give you the chords from every degree of your scale. But to keep it simple, because that's the easiest way to go and get good results in the beginning, I will take only, first I'll take the chord built on the second degree of the scale. So we said that this was the root, and now I'll take the second degree, and from the second degree I'll have this chord. So I'll have the second degree, then 2 steps up from my scale will give me this tone, and another 2 steps up will give me this tone. So now I have these 3 tones. And these 2 chords will sound like this, played back to back. So now, why I'm doing this, why I'm taking another chord? By taking another chord from a degree that's adjacent to the root, I'll get 3 completely different tones. So the first chord gave me the 1, the 3 and the 5 of this scale. And the second chord gives me the 2, the 4 and the 6. So I have 3 more tones, and the only one missing now is the 7th. When I take the note on the 7th degree, I would have the complete scale in my backing track. So I have now all the harmonic information that I need, and all the tones of the scale are here, so you can definitely hear if you're playing the tones that you would like to, and eventual mistakes will be much easier to hear in the beginning. If you want to complete your backing track with the 7th degree, the one that doesn't come from these 2 chords, you can just build a chord on the 7th degree. So that would be, in my case, this chord, and it consists of the 7th degree, the 2nd and the 4th degree, and these 3 chords will define my whole scale. now, just by playing this backing track, I have a pretty good idea what the scale that I'm playing over it should sound like, because it gets so specific. It's not just one chord, like in the last step where you can play a lot of different scales, but it gets much more specific, so it's easier. So what would the benefits here be? It will help you develop ear for the sound of the scale just by listening to the backing track. And the way you want to arrange the backing track is you want to spend the most time on the chord of the first degree, so it sounds like the home and the stable bass, and use the other chords just as a spice, so don't let them ring for too long or they will change your perception of the root chord. So just stay more on the first and that's enough for the other two chords. And the other very important thing is let the root note, the bass note, always be the root note of the scale, even when changing the chords. So you can see I'm always letting my root note A ring in, even when I change the chords. So that way I get reminded that this is the most important tone of the scale. So let's try this out with some music. To my ears, this kind of backing track is pretty good in defining a scale, and it's really helpful when exploring a new sound. You can experiment with other triads or even with several chords, but for simplicity's sake I like to take 2 or maximum of 3 triads and work with that instead of getting overwhelmed by all the possibilities. Sometimes less is more. The more secure and familiar you get with your scale, the less info you need from your backing track, and eventually you can go back to playing over the root only. So guys, I hope these insights help you with your music and you have fun playing with them. Take care, and I'll see you soon.